Hello and welcome to the GodIsAGeek.com podcast episode 508. Is that correct? I'm going to just ask Chris Hyde, but my name is Adam Cook. Hello, Chris. Is that the correct number, or have I forgotten to add one?
I think it's the right number, but it's also never the right number, as we always say, 'cause it's not the 508th.
Okay.
Can't talk. But
No.
It probably is right. I think the last one was 507.
Yeah, but now you see, I'm wondering if that was wrong as well. It doesn't matter. This is not the right way to start a podcast. Are you all right, Chris?
Yes.
Good. Oh, this is awkward.
Wait, hang on.
Oh, hang on. You've spoiled it. Chris White's here.
Oh,
Chris White looking really, really good in that hat and jumper combo, mate.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I love you too.
That's all right. I didn't say I loved you. I just
what we're
said you look
saying
good.
is,
Oh,
I
well,
look
I
like
don't love you. I
shite.
take it back.
Okay. And hello, Lyle. How are you?
Hi everyone. I love all of you.
That's
Love for everyone.
It's very kind of you, but I've got to be honest, mate. Normally you're the sort of sartorial elegance when it comes to this podcast, but I think Mr. White is... I don't know. I think
Have
he's
his arse,
It's a
Christ.
challenge. I think he's
Do you
challenging.
fancy me?
Yeah, I was going to
Well,
say.
in that hat, mate,
jeez.
it'd be hard not to.
Well, thank you.
You know, I like the
I'll wear it
colour.
all
I
the
just
time
think
now.
it's just your mate. It's your colour. It's your colour. Is all I'm saying.
I think I look good. I think Chris looks good. I think Lyle looks good. Let's do a podcast.
Let's do
Okay.
a podcast.
On that note, on that definitely not pre-scripted joke. I wish it was. Lyle, talk to us about video games, because at the moment there's stuff happening that we can't talk. There's quite a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes we can't talk about. But fortunately for us, because we do this live, if you are joining us for the first time, and then we sort of it goes away until the official broadcast date on Monday when everyone else gets it. But you can get it if you're a Patreon, patreon.com/GodIsGeek. But Lyle, the one game that has, well, by the time you hear this be out, is a JRPG, which is a shock to me. You know, who'd have thought?
Who'd have thought? And who'd have thought it'd be me who'd be talking about that?
Well, to be fair, all four of us are kind of into our RPGs, but when it comes to anime-based JRPGs like One Piece Odyssey,
Like One Piece Odyssey. Yeah, that's usually where I come in. And yeah, I've played One Piece Odyssey. I've played so much One Piece Odyssey, and I've reviewed One Piece Odyssey. And it's like, all right. Is that helpful?
Nice.
do you know what? Like, the thing is, when you
That should have been your review. I have played so much One Piece Odyssey.
It's all right.
do you know what?
And it's all right.
You joke about that, but it's something I've always wanted to do. Like this big game, like this everyone's looking forward to, and that is just kind of like, you know, it's a sort of 5, 6, or 7, and then someone clicks into it, and it's just a big picture, like the featured image, all the details, and just it's all right, 5 out of 10, and then that's it. And just to see, but like the thing is, when you previewed this, I can't remember. I think before and after. I can't remember. It was sometime around
before,
Christmas.
I think. Yeah.
Okay, the thing that I took away from it, having not played it, is one, I was quite looking forward to the fact it wasn't a JRPG. It wasn't a Musu,
Yeah.
because a lot of the One Piece games have been Musus.
Loads of them.
And that's it. Yeah, that's right. And two, I thought it looked really good. Like the visuals, it looked really nice looking.
Yeah. And it still is really nice looking. That part I can't take away from it.
Yeah.
The main issue is just like it's the pacing over everything else. Like the combat, which I did talk about quite a lot in the preview because I got to play a decent chunk of that in that opening few hours I got to jump into. Like it is really good what they do with that. Like it's a turn-based system, but your characters are sort of in different areas, and to move to another area, you have to not have any enemies in your area. And it's a little bit complex to understand, and the game doesn't do a very good job of that either. But when you get into it, it really does work well. It's like you sort of have to make a decision of like, okay, I've got this character who can do like long range attacks, so maybe I'll try and use them to free up this other character. And there's this like strategic element of trying to sort all that out, but in between the combat, there's just a lot of walk over to there's a guy who's fallen down in the street really early on who needs some medicine. So you talk to him, and then you walk to the other side of town to talk to the doctor who doesn't have the medicine. So you walk to the other side of town and slightly out of town to talk to someone who might have the medicine who doesn't have it. So then you go back to the doctor to see if it's just this back and forth, slow-paced, like busy work of like, I just sort of want to play the game, guys. Like you don't need to be padding this out. It's so long. I think it's like 8 chapters long or something like that, and I was like way past the 10-hour mark, and I looked what chapter I was in, and I was like, a bit. I was about halfway through chapter 2 at the time, and this was like it was this big desert area, and I'd been through like 4 different sort of like really big open areas that were just sand, and I could not, if you paid me, tell me what the difference between each of them were. They all had scorpions in, that were the only encounters you really ever had, and I just sort of was like, why? Like, I'm playing this like after I've played recently things like Persona 5 and Chained Echoes in very recent memory, and I was just sort of thinking, the way this game's pacing is going, like, I'm just like, I want to carry on. I want to feel like I'm doing something a little bit different, and it never really felt like that. And then alongside that as well, your characters have these sort of like different abilities you can use for exploration. So there's one character who, if you switch to him, you'll see cooking ingredients that other people don't see. So you can pick up those ingredients. And then if you switch to someone else, they see money because they're obsessed with money. And then you switch to someone else and they'll be able to get birds' nests, which you can get ingredients for crafting these trick balls you can use in battles.
It all sounds quite basic, like, because there was one thing I wanted to ask you about in the review, actually. You mentioned, like, you have to go back to the quest giver to hand the quest in and stuff. I'm sure that might have been in the preview, actually. But either way, I'm sure it's something you mentioned. That surprised me a little bit, because that's something a lot of JRPGs are now kind of dispensing with, unless they really breaks the kind of narrative. Do you know what I mean? If it's really odd to just be able to, because even something like Xenoblade Chronicles, that you do it, it's done. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And I think Tales of Arise, I want to say that. No, you did have to go back with Tales of Arise, but you could preemptively do it. Like, if you had, say, 3 jars of milk and they wanted 3 jars of milk.
There's fast travel that unlocks about 15 hours into the game.
Oh, Christ.
Like,
because that's the thing that makes it less laborious. If you have got to go back,
Yeah.
at least if there's a lot of fast travel points, then it's not really an extra step.
And there is a lot of fast travel points, and when you do get to that point, it's helpful. But like, you haven't needed to do a huge amount of like traipsing miles back for side quests at that point, because it's still fairly early on in the grand scheme of things.
Like, big then, or like do you know what I mean? Like,
They
big enough by the sounds of it that it bothers you.
They're big enough, yeah. They're definitely big enough, and like, it's just stuff like when I was saying about the different characters that you switch to for all these different reasons, like, to do that, you have to press a button to open a menu to select one of them to then jump back into them.
I was going to ask, just like when you were talking about that, because that sounds very much like if I was playing it, I'd go into every area, want to switch between every character to check I didn't miss getting anything,
which just
and that
means
sounds like an absolute faff.
Yeah, basically that means that in every area you are basically playing it through as 4 characters, because you want to make sure you see all these little things. And eventually I gave up and just was like, I'm not going to pick up the extra money. Like, I don't.
Would there be a point to? That's I think you're. To be honest, I think about to answer, but say, well, like Chris's way of playing, would there be a point to doing it that way?
I mean, I definitely could have used some extra like crafting stuff, especially in the later game. There were items that I couldn't afford for a long time that I think that if I'd maybe switched to the person who found more money more often, I might have been able to afford. It was never I didn't get stuck. I wasn't like, I can't.
No, it just could have been easier.
But it definitely could have been easier for sure. Yeah, and it's just a shame. I mean, there's a lot of the way they do the stories clever in that they like tell One Piece stories that are like from the anime, like, but they're told as memories. So you're kind of like seeing them with like a fresh coat of paint. But if you don't know One Piece, you also get to see get the gist of the story regardless. So it kind of offers something for new One Piece, like being introduced to One Piece for like the first time, and older fans who will be like, oh, this isn't how it happened in the anime. So it's a little bit interesting in that sort of way. Like, I think
that sounds like it would annoy them though as well. That could potentially be like, this isn't how it happened. Yeah.
I mean, they make a big deal about it, like it's not supposed to be canon. It's like there's a character who legitimately says like, your memories might not remember this the way you like it actually happened, so you'll sort of
it's certainly a clever way of doing. You wonder if like it's a bit like the Disney thing of like where they own all these properties and you might be allowed. Do you know what I mean? Like with Marvel and stuff, like the way they make a game that's like not canon because it's alternative thing, and it's a clever way of getting around not moving on a very storied, beloved franchise while also making something quite interesting. The thing I'm getting from it is that it sounds like it suffers from that problem of, when developers used to come out and go, this game is this big and you can go all the way over there and see it, and the issue is never really about how big the world it is, it's about filling it with interesting things to do from that point A to B. And it sounds a bit like this game looks good, probably sounds good, the combat's good, but then when it comes to the actual world part, like it might look good, but it's kind of like, I was looking at the footage of I don't know the characters, but the guy with the long nose who fires a bow and arrow. He's the one who gets the bird's nests. Usopp, okay. He's the one who gets the bird's nest, isn't he? I think. Yeah. And it looks like you just run around, see a bird's nest, press a button, and then it's now collectible on the floor in front of you. And it doesn't look to me like that is something that needed a almost Metroidvania style. Oh, now you've got this character and he can get those things. And it just sounds like it's elongating something that maybe didn't need it.
Definitely. Like, in this game, there is a good JRPG hiding under a few layers of issues.
Is it feature creep then? Is it?
I mean, I don't really know. It never felt like there was too much going on either. Like, it was it was more just like, if you want to see everything, you're really going to have to put your time in. There's going to be a lot, and there's just a bit too much sort of back and forth. There's like the action gets broken up by, conversations. And I know this is a JRPG, but you will have 5 or 10 minutes where you're just like, I'm just trying to get out of the town gate and go and fight something. Like, can I please? And then it's like, oh no, now this character wants to talk about this thing. And it just kind of it gets you down, and eventually it just grinds on you a little bit, really. And
I assume that it would have been a 6, but the half point was because it's got a character called Chopper in it. I was assuming
that's it.
I mean, I'd give any game a half a point just for having. It's not a name you hear enough. Like, it's kind of like Bash Street Kids and the Beano days. Like, Chopper. I mean, I suppose there's also Chopper Harris, but
his full name is Tony Chopper. If that helps. So
sorry, it's Tony not Tony Chopper.
No, Tony Chopper, and he's a reindeer, but a very small, cute reindeer, but who can sort of turn into a bigger reindeer and punch things. I mean, I'm not going to lie.
So he's not human?
No, he's not human. And I'm also, I'm not going to lie, everything about One Piece in terms of, its actual story, it is a bit much in it. And I'm saying that, and I'm started here in this shirt, and I'm like, oh, gosh, give it a rest, will you?
Do you know what? That's kind of like... It's almost a badge of honor that they should have a picture. That picture of you doing that. They should have that picture of you with "it's a bit much" on it, and that's just on the box. Not you get a box quote, just that. But it's a bit much, and that would make fans go, "Oh my god, it must be amazing!" Because look at him. It's a bit much for him. It's a shame. It's a shame because I know you had hopes for it when you sort of you previewed it, and I must admit I was the same. I was like, I actually think this could be one. But reading your review. I mean, there is a demo. We should say there's a demo so people can go and have a go. I think on Xbox and PlayStation. I don't know about PC.
Don't waste your time.
Bloody hell! 2023's changed you, Chris.
Yeah,
Mr. Kind is like, don't waste your fucking time. But there's an element I still kind of just I've got enough JRPGs to be playing with turn-based combat that we're not starved anymore, are we? Really?
We're really not starved. No, it's sort of this is the era of I remember on the PS3, I'd get this growing pile of JRPGs, and there'd just be somewhere no one had ever really talked about them. They weren't really mentioned that much, and eventually you were like, maybe I'll play this, and then or I could just play one of the really really good ones. They're so long, you don't need that many of them anyway. Yeah. So it's hard to recommend. One that I would say is an average one.
I've got a question.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Christmas tree got eyes and lips on it?
Yeah,
it does.
And it's got arms.
Does it sing?
I think so.
Oh my!
I don't think it might not have batteries now. No, it's not.
That's really cool.
Yeah, but it normally sort of wobbles and dances a bit.
Oh wow! Yeah, sorry, I've been looking at it all this time.
I mean, that's a further indictment of the game. I feel that I've got a question.
I actually have no questions about
I was thinking, is he going to go for the humour here and ask about the sort of anime ladies in it? Because if you've been watching the video version of it, there will have been clips, and you will have been like, "What is going on?" And I'm thinking, was he going with it? And he didn't even want to know about the game at all.
Give a shit. Just that the Christmas tree I forgot to bother taking down before this started.
The truth is, though,
I won't be playing it though because I'm not into One Piece.
I've still got my question about Chopper that I've been sitting on for about 5 minutes.
It'll come to you.
Sitting on a chopper.
He's been sitting on a chopper for about 5 minutes. That's that smile.
Hot Shots Part Deux, right?
What?
Adam, you'll know what I'm talking about.
I know. Yeah.
Okay. Is it Chopper Harley?
Topper Harley.
Topper. Okay, that's where I'm getting it confused. Sorry.
Even that wasn't about One Piece.
Still not about One Piece.
I've got a Chopper reference here, and it's not even fucking Chopper.
What I would say before we move on is if you've seen One Piece in the title of this, whether it's the audio version, the video version, whatever. Not sorry. But like we're probably not the target audience. We are JRPG fans, all of us. I've never seen. I mean, One Piece feels like it's been going for. I wouldn't like to guess actually, but it must be a decade.
1,000 episodes yet. Well, I think it's close to 1,000.
Close to 1,000 episodes, close to 1,000 Musus based on it, and it's a bit like it makes me think of WWE a bit like where for a long. I know things are changing, but for you, like Chris White is a WWE fan, like you kind of got 2K's WWE, or that's it. And that's changing, but it's kind of the same thing with One Piece. You either you watch the anime and then you play the game that Bandai Namco do, or you don't play a One Piece game.
Second game I reviewed was a One Piece game.
Yep, I believe it.
3. And it was a Musu.
Yeah. They all. That's why I was so interested to see what this would be, because it's not a Musu, and it's like. Before we move on, I should shout out Mikhail in the chat with his 179 Indian rupees super chat thingy, where he says, I like the big plot in the game, have a good pod. I think we know what he means. If you've been watching the video version, you'll know what he means by the big plot. Let's move on. Let's move on to a game I know we've all played, but Chris Hyde, you're part of that. You're part of this. When I say all, you're one of those people.
One of us. One of us.
Yeah.
One of us.
You have played. Finally. No, sorry. I'm going to build this up a bit more.
Go on then, please, because I can't fucking wait.
Well, when did I first ask you to play it, do you think, roughly?
Oh, I don't know. About 1997?
Yeah. Yeah, it was about then, before it came out, I think, and before the console it was on existed. It was a while ago, but to be fair, I'm going to defend you, and I know that what you're going to say, because we've played together, and I'm really building this up, what game this is going to be.
Mass
in
Effect?
your defense, Mass Effect. In your fucking, he's
my God, cheers.
He's stabbing people. He's literally stabbing people. But I know
he don't give a shit anymore, does he?
Really changed.
He's like 2023.
I mean, that hat, you need to take it off. I think it's like it's. I don't know what's going on. It's
evil
changed
hat.
him.
Believe me, you don't.
Evil beanie.
But yeah, this game is something I nagged you to play, but you had other things and other priorities to play, and I don't even remember if Lyle played it before Game of the Year. But I'm going to ask you a question about Game of the Year. But first of all, Chris, tell us, as your first ever play of it, how do you feel about? And I've built it up more than enough now. Overwatch 2.
Yeah, so I put a lot of hours into Overwatch 2. It's all right. Oh, thank God Lyle laughed, because Christ, I thought it was being really clever.
Yeah.
You were. I was also a bit sad, so I don't know
sad?
if it was that you think it's all right.
He doesn't.
Do you not think it's all right?
Well, I thought it was a joke, but now I'm worried that you actually do think it's like average.
No, it depends on your perspective of all right.
Okay, carry on.
No, okay, all right. So,
I mean, thank God this is audio based. Otherwise, really, no one will know what's going on, will they?
No. So, okay. I really like Overwatch 2.
You do. Okay.
And I know Adam's going to ask me some questions, which will probably express truly how much I like Overwatch 2. But this is another moment where Adam says, "I told you so."
I've never said that to you.
No,
thinks
yeah,
it,
but
though,
this
doesn't he?
is the thing.
Yeah,
right?
God, I think
I
it all
never
the
say I
time.
told you so, but every message is like that in a different way to me. It's just like, so you like Overwatch 2 now, do you? That's funny. Like, you know,
but playing it without me now, are you?
It when I told you about it.
Playing it without me
you
now.
before.
Playing it with your friends
words.
without me now, are you? Playing it without me. You know, you and your friends.
Yeah. They want me before you. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
That's anyway,
true.
so Overwatch 2. So
yes.
God, it feels like months ago when we played it. When did we actually start playing? It was like a couple of weeks.
It was a couple of
Was
know.
It might not even be a week. It doesn't feel like it's that long.
I feel like we would have talked about it last week. If you
played
definitely
it on Saturday. You played it on Saturday because you asked me if I could, and I was at work and I was miserable.
I feel like if you'd played it before last week's podcast, you would have mentioned it, wouldn't you?
I think it was Saturday.
It was a busy podcast last week, to be fair, so it is possible. It was like, well, you played it once. Because I want to say you may have played it once before last week's episode.
Yeah, maybe. Played it a lot since then.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah, I really like Overwatch. I mean, look, for those that have watched the obviously Game of the Year pods and any other time when I talk, I like a multiplayer, I like a co-op multiplayer. You know, I like playing with people, and I get a lot of pleasure out of playing multiplayer.
Chris, could you do me a small favour, just for the people who do watch this on video? Could you say that word again while I put you full screen?
Pleasure.
Thank you.
I assumed you meant that and not multiplayer.
No. I think it was multiplayer.
No, it was pleasure. It was pleasure.
Yeah, so obviously, and I'm not going to say what fucking Overwatch 2 is. Christ.
Well, Chris, people have seen the video of it while you're talking. If they can't work out it's an FPS.
Listen, again, if you've paid any attention, I'm always the healer. I'm always the support. I'm always that type of player. So the support class in Overwatch is where I kind of gravitated to. Played my first night with Adam, and I was like, "All right, you need to show me the ropes. Let me, help me out because I've no idea what I'm doing." So I was like, "Oh, this Angel character looks all right. I'll try and be her. Don't be her. She's mine. You can't be her. If you're her, you'll ruin my life." I was like, "Okay, well, I can't play this. I want to. Then okay, I can't be Mercy. That's fine." So we can't ever be Mercy if Adam's playing, so I had to pick someone else. And yeah, I'm having a really good time with it. It's one of those things. It's annoying how much I like it because it means Adam's right. And
is that bad? Is it bad that I'm right once? A stop clock's right twice a day.
If you, yeah, okay, but like, don't get me wrong, I didn't want to hate it. Let's be really clear. I didn't want to go, well, told you I'd fucking hate it.
That would be spiteful.
Do you know what? What worries me the most about it is it means I'm going to get nothing else done this year.
Yeah,
that's what I worry about the most because we've got a little in our Discord, which if for just $1 a month you can be a member of and get involved. We have an Overwatch 2 chat, which I never paid any attention to at all because didn't need to before, like the pissing Steam Deck chat. I stay well clear of that because it's nothing to do with me. And now I check it every morning just to see what's going on. And then most evenings I'm like, if I said 8 o'clock to people, what would they say? And then people start going, I'm free. And it's like,
well, the thing that when I realised I'd created a monster, it was when you chose to play Overwatch 2 instead of watching Manchester United on telly.
So hang on, right? So first off, it was a cup game, right? Let's be really.
You can caveat and make as many excuses as you want. I'm not judging you.
And we won, and it's fine. But yeah, I'll say it now. Also, and let's be really clear, I wasn't going to get to watch it on TV, right? So that's the other thing. It's not like I sat there in front of the TV and went, nope, this isn't for me. I'm going to go and play Overwatch. I wasn't going to get to watch it anyway. So all I was going to get is notifications on my phone. So I thought, well, I might as well have notifications on my phone whilst wrecking up the shit with mates. And that's what happened. So yeah, but no, you are right. I liked it, and I still like it.
It's very addictive, and it's very strange because it's when you really think about it, it's a very repetitive game. Well, it is and it isn't because all the different heroes means it can be not repetitive at all.
The thing is, though, I like Call of Duty. I like pro clubs on FIFA.
Fair point.
They're incredibly repetitive, but every
True.
match is different.
Yes,
and it's all for me. It's all to do with the co-op and
it's the composition. It's the hero and team composition that make that game sing.
And I haven't even got under the the hood, as the kids say, of all the shit that you can really get into. People start talking about, I want the best player to be to counter that person. I'm like, I don't I know what you mean because I'm not stupid, but I'm just going to pick the same person every time and do my best.
You do that because when we played Deep Rock, you were similar, and that you picked the one and that was your one. I will be genuinely interested to see if this sticks with you. If you're like, I am Moira.
There's questions coming later,
thanks,
so I don't.
Adam.
Oh, is
What's
he?
that?
What? What have I done?
Moira.
Yeah.
What?
You know, I've told you countless times Moira's mine.
I didn't tell him to pick Moira.
You didn't tell him not to, though, did you?
You can't be Mercy, and there's only 3 to pick from, and that one's too hard to do when you're a new person. So you best pick Moira.
Very
That's
specifically said you could be Mercy, and I would do something else.
And then, let's be honest, I was fucking brilliant with Moira, so I stuck with her. Isn't that true, Lyle?
It is true. I've heard tales of a 22 kill streak as a support.
Whoa, let's not exaggerate. It was only 21.
Yeah, that's when he was playing without us.
It could have been 22.
It could have been, but I died. But look, this game is great. Our community that we play it with is really good, which means I don't have to deal with the toxic random chat. I can just get in a group with mates. We'll occasionally work together. More often than not, Kieran or Lyle will just fuck off the other side of the map. But most of the time, we'll work together. We'll have some epic bants. And it's quite quick. And it's inclusive. And it's not like, once we realised that, because when we first started playing, I was like, this is a hard game. This is a hard game.
That was bad.
And then Kieran was like, I should probably put my other account on because we're being put up against Olympic champions. And then all of a sudden it was like, I can kill people. Or that's nice. And we win more than we lose, I think. But I'm a bit addicted. I can stop when I want to stop. It's in my own hands. I think the fact that I've got some games to review is going to make me make it more of a thing. It's going to force me to stop a little bit. But it's very good. It's very addictive, very well made, and very enjoyable.
So the question then that I've been waiting to ask,
I know,
and it's coming. To be fair, I did tell you I was going to ask you this. Is that had you played this when I originally insisted that I felt you should?
Yes.
What difference would this have made to the Game of the Year categories? Because I've been told off for not fighting for it in the top 10 of the year, and I didn't for a reason. Because I know Chris White enjoyed it as well, but if I recall, there was a lot of discussion about it being biggest disappointment because of the way the game launched, and Lyle was very much on that side of the fence at the time because he hadn't played it with us as a gang either, sort of thing, and he hadn't discovered Roadhog and Junkrat.
Yeah, because I originally played it on my own, and that was a terrible mistake.
No, that's not the way to play it.
Never have done at all.
Probably not the best way to judge a best multiplayer, but yeah.
No, probably not. But it was. Basically, I just didn't understand why everyone was killing me because everyone's so different. But when you've got someone like Kieran who tells you who everyone is constantly, then you suddenly know what you're doing, and it's great.
Yeah, I have really enjoyed playing it with the group. I know you're going to come on to the... I'll answer the question in a minute.
You know what the question is, so you can just tell us when you're ready what you think.
Yeah, I have really enjoyed playing it with, like I said, with Kieran and with Steve and Nick and that on our Discord, because it does... You learn, don't you, as you play? People give you advice and you bounce off each other, and people are giving you live advice on what to do and stuff. So that certainly has helped, as you play, because you are kind of working together. But yeah, in terms of Game of the Year, I'll be really clear. I'd have been fighting for this as best multiplayer. And
sorry, it's an itch. Where my
tie?
where I would normally wear a tie.
It's fine. I fought for Tiny Tina, and I stand by that. But I think, given what this game is, and the fun I've had with it, and how well it's made as a multiplayer, I would have been fighting for this had I had.
Do you also see why I was so insistent? You of all people play it.
What's that?
Do you see why I was so insistent of all people? You should be the one. Yeah.
No, I get it.
It's it is a competitive multiplayer game.
Yeah.
But the team-based stuff is kind of, for me, it's like the best co-op.
It's the quintessential co-op multiplayer, I would say. And it's very fast-paced, which is good as well. I like that. And I think it would have crept into my top 10 for Game of the Year as well. I mean, it depends, because something like Chained Echoes at the time when I wrote it didn't. It got an honourable mention, and I love that game now. So it's difficult to know exactly where all the chips would have landed. but it would have been up there. And it's I'll be playing a lot of it. I think it will definitely be my go-to. A bit like how we started with, I guess, last year. You know, when we played like Siege, it was like the go-to like game when we were looking for a multiplayer game to play together. I think this will last longer than Siege did. We dropped off Siege, didn't we? As pretty much after Elden Ring came out. But you were right. I love it. I'm great at it, and I'll play it some more. And it's great. I even play with Lyle. So this game of the year. Do you know what I mean?
It's mended bridges. We're best friends now.
Yeah. Well, let's not go that far. Well. But I don't try and like ruin his life on it.
No,
I actually try and help him. So
you have to, because sometimes
I've healed Lyle.
He has healed me,
and in turn you've healed the world, or your bonds, your friendships, or Well, we'll probably be talking about Overwatch 2 a bit more as the year comes on. We're going to get to... We've not got, let's say, a lot to really delve into this week, which is why I thought it was a nice chance to have a talk about Overwatch 2. But I have also played a little bit of Returnal this week, and I just wanted to give that a little shout, because when I played that when it first came out, and I really enjoyed it, I didn't have... Do you know that, like, the official PlayStation 5 headset with all the 3D audio and that? I didn't have that, because I got it, like, later. And it hadn't occurred to me to... I mean, you could probably go back to all the games that came out before I had it, if you know what I mean, and play it. But I didn't have it, and I did try Returnal with it. And it's one of the very first games that has really wowed me in terms of, like... I mean, it already looks amazing, and the visuals and the colours, but, like, the audio in that game is so good. Like, that game is so good. And, like, with it coming to PC, I don't know, they haven't said when, have they? But it seemed like a good idea to have a refresher of it, because it is that kind of game where you could go away from it for a bit, and it would be like
Return to Returnal.
Yeah, Return to Returnal. Well, it's got co-op in it, and I still haven't.
Well, this is that. So, like, I would say now, I think I kept quite quiet during Game of the Year, but the year before when this was on, but like I bounced off this game hard. It pissed me off. I think co-op would be the thing that would. And we've talked about going through it again, co-op. I think that would be the thing that, again, it's like there's some things that confused me and things that frustrated me on it. So I think that might be the thing that I need to try to see if I can experience what I think quite a lot of people have gone. This is amazing when you know, especially when you get through a lot of it and you think, God, this is really great. I
do wonder because there's so much about it that I feel like if you wanted to show off the new generation of hardware, specifically the PlayStation 5, it's kind of, I think, the best game to do that, because it's got unreal visuals. The audio with the 3D, PlayStation official headset is just so good. Like I think it's the first time ever, outside of virtual reality, where I've heard an enemy over there and I've turned like that, because it's on your can sort of thing. It literally made me go, oh, there's the enemy, it's right there. And it wasn't even like it's to my right, it's up there to my right. It was so pinpoint. I was like genuinely like, and I know I'm a big audio guy, and we've joked about how like I like to be a perfectionist and people don't even notice, do you know what I mean? We've joked about that, but it was one of those was like, wow. Then you've got the haptics in that game as well, which are again otherworldly good, like with the raindrops falling and stuff. It's kind of like it's the game and the trouble is it's just a really difficult game as well. It's a really hard game, so it's like it's the game I would want to go, this new console is PlayStation 5, here's a controller, here's a headset, there's a decent telly, play this game, this will show you why this console's cool and what's cool about it. But it's so hard that I think people might walk away a bit going like, maybe not though, eh? Are all the games like this now? Do you know what I mean? But it is just such a phenomenally good game. And I have to say, like with a little bit of space between it coming out and playing it again now, the developer obviously has made a lot of stuff for PlayStation, and it's Housemarque, and this is like the big budget one. Like I said, it makes use of all these features and functionalities of the console in the way that Astro's Playroom did. But I'd say it goes even one further, actually. I really do think it's that impressive with using the technology. It's really kind of brave that they went, okay, and we're going to make this balls hard game that people will bounce off and might not like as our like breakout game. I mean, they've done lots of games that people have loved, and they've always been on that side of it, making sort of hard-ish, games. But this is I'm torn between just wanting to play more of it, waiting for the next big games to come out and get into those, or waiting for it to come to Steam and playing it on Steam. I wonder if it will work on Steam Deck, because I think people would look at it. It's just third-person shooter. There's no reason it shouldn't. It's very, very good visually. Like, it is, the particle effects and stuff in this game are strikingly good, and I think that it would lose something if you couldn't render that on a Steam Deck. But yeah, shout out to Returnal, just because it's that time of year where we're waiting for the stuff to happen. And I suppose we have to move on now to be able to listen to correspondence, don't we? So that's what it is. It's time for
Listen to correspondence. It's time. It's time. Chris Hyde.
There you go, Chris.
Okay, so starting off questions this week from Pooh, and Kieran's actually in the chat. He's saying that apparently I'm now the #1 Overwatch fan in the Discord, which maybe. And he's asking Adam, when are you going to play as Doomfist?
No, he's saying, when do I play as Doomfist? Because the footage showed me playing Doomfist. That's not me.
Okay, so you have already?
No, that's not me playing. That's my son.
Oh, okay.
Like, I would make a point of my son's really, really good at Overwatch, so I got him to play a lot of stuff with the footage, because people don't want to watch someone being crap. So people want to watch something decent, so that's what I did.
Fair enough. And Kieran just says, as much as I love Overwatch 2, the launch in the first season was disappointing with all the errors and bugs, so I can see why it didn't make Game of the Year. Yeah, that's why I didn't play it, Kieran. That's exactly why, because I knew that was the case. So, okay, so Kieran's question is, what game coming out this year could potentially be better than Elden Ring? Fuck it, Lyle first.
Okay, well, there's already been 3.
Yeah, exactly.
The reviews on the site are there.
One Piece Odyssey.
One Piece Odyssey. We've got Sailing Era, and we've got, oh god, what's the other one called? It's got a silly name. Metal Guardian Moon Rider. Is it something like that? They're all. I mean, otherwise we'd be just saying like games we're really excited about. People know that, right? Like Resident Evil 4 might be better.
I love how he gets to give 3 games and then shit on the potential choice we're about to all have.
Yeah,
like, he says what's the point in naming all the other good games?
To be ridiculous, he says games he can't even fucking remember the name of, and then just goes, "Oh well, I suppose we could also say Resident Evil 4 remake."
I suppose we could.
Do we all sound like that to you? Because that's 2 different voices you've done of a combination.
How do I sound to you?
No.
Exactly my point.
How does Chris White sound to you? Because you've done impressions of both myself and Lyle. So how does Chris sound?
He just sounds sexy,
like sort of Barry White.
No, leave it. What, my uncle?
Oh shit! Yeah, your surname's White.
It's your uncle. That'd be brilliant.
Shit.
Please tell me that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is that true?
Don't talk about him like that.
Yeah.
Is that really his name?
Nice
No, you
about
can't
Uncle
really
Baz.
answer that. You can't really answer that. You'll get doxxed.
Have you actually got an Uncle Barry?
No.
Don't answer that.
I was going to ask if you call him.
No, I wish.
I mean, my uncle's Thomas, but that's.
Not as exciting, really. But...
Actually, I don't think that works
took
anymore.
me far too long to get.
I don't think it works anymore. Have they not gone out of business, or are they still a company?
But we're all old. It's
yeah,
fine.
but people watching will be like, well, why is Thomas the thing?
Mate. I was like, Thomas White doesn't work. And I was like, oh my god.
What was the question?
We were banned by my mother-in-law from calling my daughter Heidi.
I really wish you had. That would
have been great.
I like that you needed to be banned. I like that was a consideration at some point.
First name on the sheet, yeah, obviously, yeah, exactly.
It's
and it's one of those things where you're
Gary
like,
Neville's dad, isn't it? All over again. This.
Well, now you've forbidden it. I'm considering it. Do you know what I mean? It was like off the table, and it's like, well, now you're saying I can't.
Yeah, but that would have been like me potentially calling one of my kids Tom or Thomas. It would,
Yeah.
I think yours would be worse.
Yeah.
I think calling someone Heidi when their surname's Heidi.
Yeah.
You could have been worse. You could have called it Jekyll.
Yeah. My answer is Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, mine's also Tears of the Kingdom. So
my answer is also. No, it's not. There won't be a game better than Elden Ring this year.
Oh, mate. I'm sorry.
They're all going to be worse than One Piece.
I'm not. We talked about Zelda, didn't we? I don't want to go into it anymore.
I can't remember.
No,
that was
that's
last
fine.
year.
But like, you don't think the
think...
games you're most looking forward to could be better than it?
I honestly don't. But to be honest, I can't tell you what I'm looking forward to the most.
It's one of those years where there's there's just so much. There's so much.
The next game I'm looking forward to is Hogwarts Legacy.
Adam.
Hey.
But
what's he telling me to shut up? I didn't say nothing.
Stop talking over him. Go on, Chris.
No, whatever.
He told me to shut up when I wasn't speaking, and I've got all confused.
He's trying to confuse you. You're getting old. He's doing it on purpose. He's trying to push you over the edge.
It's not going to need to be that hard of a push, really.
I'd gone over the edge before I met him.
No,
Chris, it's one. I want to hear.
No, like I just can't think of what else is coming out other than Resi, which I know will be all right, but it won't be better than Elden Ring. But that's on a personal level with me in Elden Ring.
All right,
it was incredible, and Zelda won't be it.
I've got one.
Go on then.
See if I just need to compose myself to make sure I can say it with a straight face. Redfall.
Oh.
Listen, right?
No.
Redfall
is good. Even if Redfall. No.
I've been thinking about that game recently a lot because now Microsoft have announced they're doing a showcase and that. Developer pedigree, okay, plus vampires, and plus the fact there's an interview, I believe, on Games Radar where they say that it's actually not this multiplayer game people think it is. If we were going to compare it to anything, it would be more like a Far Cry game. So take that, add vampires, add Arcane Studios. We know from the CGI trailers and shit that it's going to be kind of a Dishonored-y style, the weird powers that you have in that, or Deathloop, is another one. I've got this weird hang up about this game in that everyone seems to have just written it off without remembering that they made Dishonored 2, and fucking Deathloop, 3 games that have like always been contentious for like Game of the Year discussions. Like the Clockwork Mansion, Dishonored 2 and stuff, best level up design ever people called it, and I don't understand.
I would say for me it's more that it's Microsoft at this point in time. That's not a slight on Microsoft. It's just the fact that every single event they've had is we've got this coming out, we've got this coming out, we've got this coming out. I think they've taken out. But I think they've learned, and the reason I say that is because everyone apart from Microsoft now, when they come out with an event, like Nintendo started this, Sony have started doing this, they'll say things like, right, Nintendo will tell it, hey, we're going to have a Nintendo Direct. Just to be clear, the sequel to the Breath of the Wild 2 will not be part of this presentation. Sony have done it with like PSVR, like we're going to talk about whatever this is or whatever, but just to be clear, we will not be talking about this. And Microsoft have now done that. They have said we're going to do a show that is all about celebrating the developers. These are the 4 games that you will find out about. And just to be clear, we are going to do a separate thing for Starfield because the game is such a big deal. We want a whole presentation to itself. So I feel like they have now caught up with that marketing style. Because everyone's got to adjust at their own speed and that. And genuinely, I'm really torn between whether Microsoft are being too hands-off and saying, look, the game's ready when it's ready, or what's going on. But like I say, Arcane Studios, man. Also, like, I don't know. I just have this feeling it's going to be really... Why? Let me swap it round. Why wouldn't it be good? If people are allowed to go, it's Platinum Games, it's going to be great.
No,
for example, can't surely fucking Arcane, who are like 3 for 3, aren't they? 4 for 4 even.
Yeah, I think it's more like the fact that it's like, where the fuck's that gone, kind of thing. I think.
But is that a bad thing though? But is that a bad thing either?
No, I just think you get doubts. It's like, well, why are they not showing us anything?
So are they saying it's like Far Cry in the sense that you can play it on your own?
Yes. Oh, it's 100% a single-player game with multiplayer options.
Fuck's sake. Really?
Yeah.
Which is a massive shift from where they first announced it.
I totally agree. The way it was announced, it looked as if they were positioning it as a kind of like a 4v1, a Dead by Daylight almost. 100% agree. 100%. No. It's got co-op multiplayer.
That'll be Elden Ring then. That'll be my one to
we
be
did
Elden Ring. Well done, Microsoft.
But I will say, even if it was a purely multiplayer game, I think I would be quite interested to see what Arcane would do, because the thing, whether you love Dishonored, whether you love Deathloop or not, you can't argue that they are not a developer doing really cool shit. Whether you gel with it or not is irrelevant. But they're a developer that, like how people get excited about Platinum. For me, I'm like, I'm here to see what you've got to show. Because look, if it's shit, it's shit. But I don't think it'd be better than Elden Ring, but it might. And it's not Tears of the Kingdom or Resi 4. So there you go.
Or One Piece Odyssey.
Yeah, it was a nice new pick.
Okay, question 2.
Sorry, that was just the first question, wasn't it?
Yeah. Which Overwatch heroes are you all going to main next?
Sigma or Ramatra. There you go.
I hate Sigma's big rocks. Why would you do that to other people?
Because I get why they play him as him now. After playing as him, I'm like, oh, I get this. I get this entirely now. What about you, Lyle?
Answer.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Chris. Go
on. I'm gonna once I've unlocked her, I'm gonna give Kiriko a good. I was gonna say good seed.
Jesus.
I'm gonna give her a good bash. I think
that's no better. That's
when
no
I've
better.
done her in the practice. Done her in the practice range. Jesus Christ.
Just stop. You said Kiriko.
Yeah, that's it. Someone else say something.
Compose yourself.
I can't remember who it was. Who has the fun jetpack that you got
Farah.
to play as?
Farah, yeah.
I thought that seemed quite fun.
Fucking hate playing against her.
Yeah.
You would as a support, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I seem to be best with the characters that don't necessarily require aim as the number one priority. I play as Junkrat because I have explosives that I can just fire down a hallway and eventually it'll be all right. And if I'm maybe focusing on flying around, I can probably do that. I'm better at platforming than I am shooting, so I'm going to give it a go.
I just always forget to look up.
Yeah, exactly. And I do the same thing, so...
But to be honest, as a Moira, there's not an awful lot you can do if there's a...
No, not unless I can find some stairs. And I'm done, really.
Chris White, have you got anything?
I never played as Roadhog before, but I have literally started playing as Roadhog, so I'll spend a bit more time with him. A bit of Winston, fancy a bit of Winston, and Lucio, I think, as a support.
Oh, I do, yeah. I like the ring.
Yeah, I love his
ring action.
I love Lucio's ring.
We all do.
That's what she said.
So helpful. Exactly. Perfect. Couldn't have been better.
I have never seen a father owned by his child in that was, and he's trying. You can see he's trying to compose himself because it's like, what do you do?
Support banter.
To be honest with you, if I was him, I'd be not only proud of her for what she said, but I'd be proud of her for the fact she's actually listening to what he's got to say.
Yeah,
she's listening to him. She's listening to him
Makes
speak.
a change. Yeah.
What's the next question, Chris?
Yeah. So Super Nintendo Charmers, which is Steve, says, "Happy New Year, you beautiful lot. Hope you had an awesome break. You have one opportunity to take a sneaky peek at a game currently in development. What game are you casting your BDI over, development warts and all? Personally, I'd like to see how Playground are getting on with Fable." I know what my answer is.
It's Tears of the Kingdom for you, isn't it?
No.
No?
No, because that's out soon.
I suppose don't say that. That'll get me all. That can't be true. What would it be then?
Mine's Metroid Prime 4.
Oh, of course.
That's
sorry.
a good one.
Sorry.
Because I'd be like, what the fuck is this game? Show me it now.
I was thinking of games like, how we do it Game of the Year where it's got to have a release date. I was in that sort of... of course.
I want to
Shit,
Metroid Prime 4, and it's like...
Of course.
Elder Scrolls 6.
Yes.
Oh,
Great shout.
I want to see if there's
Lyle,
actually
we're in
anything
trouble.
happening, or they're not just working on the next
Can you imagine
cutscene.
if you just get the same logo screen that we got 2 years ago? Okay, great. Cheers, lads.
Yeah.
Okay, mine. I am much less confident in the final game than everyone else, but just for the pure drama, I'm saying Skull and Bones right now. Why not?
These are 3 absolute belters.
Yeah.
I have to put my hand up and say, lads, that you have... I can't... No, I can't. I mean, I don't think I could come close to it. I wouldn't mind knowing what the hell State of Decay 3 is, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
Because, the second one was kind of more of the first one, but bigger. And if I recall, and do correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, I want to say that they originally envisioned making like an MMORPG, and I wonder with Microsoft's clout if they could, if that's what because like, why would you just make another? I mean, what could you add to it without going bigger again? And it's already pretty big. No, do you know what? Beyond Good and Evil 2.
I was going to say that. I was
just,
you know that.
It just like.
I was going to say that when you were like, I can't think of one.
Because like, part of me is like, I just would love them to like E3 time or something say, yeah, and it's out in November, but like I'm worried. I would want to have a sneak peek just to be able to go like, lads, I've been and had a look. It'll be all right. It's fine. They're just taking, you know what I mean? Because that is like, I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't mind knowing what's going on at the of the Coalition with Gears of War, and like I would imagine there must be another one of them somewhere.
You would think so.
The real answer to this, by the way, is Halo Infinite. Isn't it? Currently in development.
Kieran says Everwild, because I don't think anyone knows what the fuck that is.
Yeah, I thought about saying that.
Was that Ubisoft or not Ubisoft? It was.
Is that not Rare, or is that something else?
Oh, is that the? Yeah, no, I'm thinking of the other game. That I think actually might be.
Is Everwild the pretty looking one?
I think so. Yeah.
Well, it was all CGI, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like yeah. That's the like foresty looking one that looks really beautiful. That one.
What's that Obsidian game? Avowed. Avowed.
Yeah.
Microsoft announced a lot too early, didn't they? Because like they've got, when you actually start listing them off, you're like, I want to play all of these.
You could have said Hellblade, couldn't you?
Well, yeah, kinda, yeah.
Any more for any more?
No, not for me.
The new Leisure Suit Larry. Fingers crossed, 2023.
I do think Skull and Bones is a really interesting choice.
Given what they've just announced as well.
Yeah, timely.
What?
It's been delayed again, hasn't it?
Ubisoft has delayed three big ones.
Yeah. Is it not like, I think the new release date is early 2023 to 2024?
Yeah, I think it's like next fiscal year, so anytime after April, isn't it? Really? But like,
hang on, was that not announced like when Dan Murphy was working with us?
I mean, it was announced. Probably. Yeah, so I would say so.
About thinking I was looking forward to it, and that's
I think so.
Years ago,
it's been some time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Steve also says, which bands are you looking forward to releasing new music this year? Any top tips on who to listen out for? Love you, bye. I'm out on this question. I don't even know what music is anymore.
Well, no, me neither.
100 Reasons have got a new album out.
Yes.
Next month, February or March, I can't remember now. And they're a band I never thought I'd hear from again because, if I recall, was it the drum? One of them had like a brain aneurysm or something, and then they basically just stopped because it was like
Colin, the lead singer, became a teacher.
That's right. It was Colin and it was the guitarist, and we're basically going around now and again doing like just acoustic shows. They're a really loud rock band, by the way, for people who aren't aware, and they were doing like these They weren't like doing them differently. They were just playing them on acoustic guitars and doing random weird little mini festival slots. And then to see them back is like a treat because they are a really good band, and he's a superb singer. And they got some really catchy riffs as well. So them, I think there's 4 tracks available now. New one was released last week, and I think this year has to be something new from Ben Folds because it's been forever, and like he's quite active in like just the general discord of life, so to speak. But he like I feel like it's been forever since we had some new Ben Folds.
I'm quite keen to see what the new Paramore album's like because that new track they've got out is really catchy, very different but really good. And there's a new Smashing Pumpkins album out.
Yeah, I haven't listened to that yet. I keep meaning to.
Yeah, which I can't fancy.
Yeah, and I suppose another one for me, bit of an obvious one, is Noel Gallagher's got an album out at some point this year, presumably, and as a long-time Oasis fan, I'll be there.
Cardi B.
Not really my.
Camila Cabello.
You're just saying words now.
I'm being
hip.
Yeah.
Tame
what
Impala.
are kids listening to?
And I'll look at my phone to see what people are.
KSI. I actually like KSI. That's not even a joke.
Well, you asked me what the kids like, but
All right.
Hang on, will Blink 182 have an album this year?
Yes.
Because they've got that single Edge in that's really, really good.
Why aren't they releasing another one? Release another single. Come on.
I mean, I'm sure they will. I mean, I know they're touring, so they'll probably have something to promote. But yeah, there you go. There's plenty to be getting on with.
Sounds like the year of
resurgences.
Yeah, talking about bands. I'm like, I actually know these bands, and I've heard of them, and I like them.
Yeah, but I think music has a bigger discoverability problem than even games do, because with Spotify, Apple Music, and Deezer, and everything else, like I don't know how you find. Like, this is properly old man, but I remember. Do you remember NWA Straight Outta Compton? Does that mean anything? So I found a tape walking in from school on the floor down an alleyway, and I was like, "Ooh, this is going to be like the history. What could this be? Some sort of secret?" And it was NWA Straight Outta Compton, and it was like, "Wow, this is life changing. What is this? Is this how is this allowed?" And it was so good. Like, how would you find that now? It was the same with Guns N' Roses. Like a mate literally we had Mr. Brownstone, the song, and he literally goes, "Listen to this." I put his tape deck headphones on, and I was like, "This," and I'm looking around thinking, "I'm going to be arrested. You can't swear like this in a song and be all raucous and loud." And it changed my world. Like I just don't know how. I don't know how you find stuff like that. I know, like Jimmy Eat World were talking about this recently, about how they might become a singles band. Because singles do better, because you get this moment in time where there's this big, "Oh, look, we've released a new single," and you're like, "Oh, yeah, great, get some play. And then like 3 months later, another single. And it's like a lot of the fan base was like, "Yeah, but we really like when we get a new album from you every few years, and we sit down and listen to the album as it's conceived." And so I think they backed down a bit on it, and were like, "We're gonna have a think about this." But I hope that sort of thing. I like that idea of sitting down with an album, and anyway, that wasn't the question, but there you go.
Okey-doke. Mick sent through questions for all of us. So I'll start with you, Adam.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite retro game collection right now?
I like the Evercade.
Oh yeah, you've got one, haven't you?
Yeah, like this thing on video. I really, really like the Evercade. I think it's a fantastic device. They're not cheap, but it's just a really cool thing, and I like the idea of getting cartridges with bunches of games on them, and like Capcom collections and that. And I think it's a really neat way of doing it. But I guess the Evercade, yeah, for me. I don't think that's what he means. I think he means like a collection of games, perhaps. But that's the answer. That's the answer.
Fuck him. Shredder's Revenge, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge is out on Netflix for mobile. Have you tried it?
I booted it up to see that it worked and how you log in via Netflix, and that's it. I haven't played it because I've played it to death. So but basically, it knows you've got Netflix on your phone, so it will say like, "Who is this?" Adam Kids, blah blah blah, whatever your account is called. That's as far as I got.
So sort of is the answer to that, I guess.
I booted it up. I suppose so technically I've tried it.
Okay. Thoughts on Pocket Card Jockey coming to Apple Arcade?
I'd like to try it because it's Game Freak. But the thing, when I remember looking at the news story for this and like seeing the screenshots and going, "How come this looks better than Pokemon does?" Like, you can't be serious. Like, why has this got a better looking art style? So I kind of, I'll try it. I don't know much about the Pocket Card Jockey stuff, to be honest with you.
It's really good. It's just
I've heard that.
Yeah,
but I
really
don't know.
Weird, interesting solitaire game.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Seeing that, and knowing it's that, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm in. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. Any 3DS game you wish you could play on Switch right now that you missed playing before?
Osutaku Uendan.
Sorry?
Oh yeah.
Elite Beat Agents.
What did you say before that?
Osutaku Uendan. It's Japanese. I'm pronouncing it probably badly or wrong, but it was the game I imported. Probably last game I imported. It was a 3DS game, and it was basically a dance game where you would touch the screen and move with the stylus to the rhythm of a bit like theatre rhythm is now, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay, but it was absolutely a phenomenal game, and I would not be against playing that on Switch.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Given a choice, would you? Oh, this is a good question. Given a choice, would you take Advance Wars 1 and 2 reboot camp right now if it meant pushing Redfall and Spider-Man 2 to 2024?
No. I feel no, not even no.
That
God, no.
Quite easy.
I thought it was an easy question. I feel like it's not supposed to be, but that is Absolutely not. Like Advance Wars
Not-
1 and 2
no.
is a remake, and also like Fire Emblem Engage is out this month. And that is a tactics game like Advance Wars. And obviously, if you follow the site and seen the video preview and the write-up of Engage, you'll know that I have been playing that game. So I'm not like desperately like, oh, I need more tactics. And if I was, I could go play Tactics Ogre. I forgot the name of the game. What was it? Tactics Ogre Reborn?
Reborn, I think, yeah.
Yeah. Or finish Deerfield, which isn't a tactics game, but it's adjacent. No, absolutely not. No, Redfall and Spider-Man 2, I would bite your hand. I'd do the opposite. I'd say if you give me Redfall and Spider-Man 2 now, I'll let you put Advance Wars 1 and 2 reboot out in 2026 because we're going on. Like, no. Yeah, that's my question. I'm done.
Okay, doke. Chris, your questions are next. What do you want from NBA 2K24 and WWE 2K23?
In an ideal world, I want them to completely rework how virtual currency works online, because every year I hate banging the same drum.
I remember you saying this before.
Yeah.
But the progression system is broken. Like you could literally play for 20 hours, and if you haven't got the right teammates playing alongside you, you'll never make enough money for a fucking sweatshirt with like Nike on it. It's like on the My Team stuff, so all like the card based game side of it, like the Ultimate Team, it's fine. Like you can buy those cards, or they do a lot of freebies, and you can sell your own cards and stuff. So that system's quite well. But like when it comes to like the city and playing online, I don't have enough time to spend there. So I would say that, but that's not going to happen.
I remember reading your review of it last year, and I could literally feel the sadness of almost like I have to write this again.
Yeah,
you do. And I like such a good game.
Yeah,
such a good game, like gameplay wise. But
rotten.
I'd never play online. And then WWE, I would say last year, when did it come out?
Yeah,
last year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I would say that was a good start to the future. And then Lyle will know, with the company itself, it took a change for the better. But now some other stuff happened.
The Russians, hasn't he?
Well, I've literally, before coming on, there was something about Disney Plus.
What?
There was the Saudi Arabians.
Okay.
Disney Plus. So I don't know what's going on, but that's not my.
Well,
that isn't it.
Well, I think
yeah. I mean, that is an issue
know if
in
it's
itself.
story or if it's real. Does that make?
Unfortunately, it's real.
He really is. So Vince McMahon really is the owner, really, in real life, really.
Vince stepped down because of allegations made against him. So then his son-in-law and daughter kind of helped to take the reins of creative.
And that's Stephanie McMahon and
Triple H.
And again, this is in real life we're talking about.
They are married with kids and stuff.
Oh, okay.
It all really happened.
Okay.
And then it started to get better, much better.
Right.
And they've brought people back who Vince fired for reasons unbeknown to anyone other than himself. And it became a strong company again for most long-term fans. And then Vince is back on the board of directors, and it's
because he was mates with Trump and stuff, wasn't he? Like he was proper in that gang of shitbags.
I mean, he's for that time, like he's been amazing. Like, so there's been times where he's done some great things, but it's like he's getting old, and it feels like he's just lost his mind.
Like Trump.
And it needs someone like Triple H and Stephanie to. But then Stephanie's resigned. She's left now as co-CEO, so it's in a bit of a bad way. But in terms of the game, I would say build upon last year's, change. I want a mode which is reminiscent of the very first kind of like WrestleMania 2000 was wicked when it came to that story mode, where you would be like, there'd be a cutscene in the ring, and like your tag team partner would just turn around and like twat you, and it's completely unexpected. And like it's really good because like that's kind of what happens when you watch wrestling. Sometimes it just happens out of nowhere, and there's never any surprises. So I'd say that building the story will be better, and taking away the freedom. I don't like that much freedom in universe mode to spend my time creating every match, every wrestler, every event. I just want a bit more structure and story for me to just jump into. So But it was good. It was good. And I would say just build on that and we'll see where we go. But now the company's fucked in real life. I don't really care.
Okay. Are you looking forward to the... I'm scared to ask. Are you looking forward to the AEW game?
Absolutely. It's going to be silly and beautiful and wonderful. And yes, I am. Very much so.
Carrying on with that positivity. Given unlimited budget, what publisher would you buy to make a game that you want?